10. As of 2015, the CDC reported suicide as the third leading cause of death among kids as young as 10 years old. 15. Suicide is also the second leading cause of death of ages 15 to 34. 18. The ages of Chloe and Casey when they fell victim to suicide.
My daughter was mentally abused by an individual for a long, long time. And she thought she could handle it herself, and she couldn't.
I know Casey didn't want to die, let's just put it that way. And I don't think anybody who takes their own life wants to die. I think they want the pain to stop.
Payne Angie Risk had no idea her son felt then, and she doesn't want it to define him now.
What was Casey like?
So talented, funny, funny, funny.
And a baseball standout at PCS with plans to play in college.
Baseball was my son's life.
But before his high school graduation in 2015, Angie says Casey lost his love for the game. And after graduation, she remembers Casey sleeping more. It became difficult to wake him for something they look forward to each day.
I cooked my son breakfast every morning. It was a big deal. You know, that was one of our things.
A cherished ritual Angie says her son would thank her for in little notes, telling her he loved her. But on September 14th, 2015, Angie found her son in his room and his last notes.
He talked about that he was tired of disappointing people.
Angie says he wrote he loved his family, telling them not to blame themselves. She admits it's hard not to feel guilt when she can now see all the warning signs: depression, defensiveness, and his denial that anything was wrong. Red flags Chloe Fenton's mom, Juliana, says she never saw.
My daughter had no signs. The psychologists, they had it all wrong in our case. I did not have that withdrawn child. I did not have that one that was always sitting in her room, not wanting to talk to us. We had the child that loved hanging out with us.
Juliana says Chloe was a loving baby sister, her father's best friend, and most of all, strong. All makings of a happy life, which Juliana says made what she found the morning of November 2nd, 2016, unfathomable.
I knew something was wrong because she was so stiff. Everywhere, I don't know, in my mind, maybe I thought she was going to be, I don't know, sleeping outside something, I don't know, who knows? That's not what I expected to come across.
Juliana says Chloe shot herself. She found Chloe outside next to her bedroom window. Later, she says she found out her daughter was receiving tormenting messages, the sender calling Chloe a disgusting waste of space and even telling her to kill herself.
Has anyone ever came to you or told you why they think the bullying started, why they think the messages started?
I don't know how it started. I don't know the whole extent of it. I don't know why the individual chose her.
Or why Chloe chose not to tell her parents.
I wish she could have reached out. I wish she would have said more so we could have intervened. But with her mentality, she was so tough. But it was just too much for her.
It would have been too much for any teen, according to the clinical director of Southern Behavioral Medicine, Dr. Geraldine Datz.
Their sense of identity is not fully formed, which is why they can be hurt so easily.
Pair that vulnerability with hormone changes, and Dr. Datz says that can lead a teen to depression, even issues with problem solving.
It's not necessarily the person's fault. It's that they couldn't think of any other way to solve the problem other than just not to be here.
Datz says the warning signs aren't always obvious. They can be changes parents have to dig deeper to find.
Changes to eating, sleeping, social withdrawal, changes in grades.
Her warning to parents is, once a child has an electronic device, they are plugged into the world, an access that needs to be watched.
It's perfectly appropriate to monitor your child's tweets or Facebook account or Instagram messages weekly.
Angie says knowing what she knows now about her son, about suicide, she would go back and cross that line of privacy.
Sometimes you got to do things that the child may not understand then.
Juliana says she would have looked through Chloe's phone and she would have looked to Chloe's friends.
I would have probably have had more of her friends come over and hung out with her friends more. Maybe then somebody would have been like, hey, did you tell your mama about that message you got? Then I would have been like, what message?
These mothers know they have to leave the should-haves behind and make sure no other parent has to ask what if, and no child chooses the wrong way out.
There is always, always hope. Always hope. If you can't find a way to believe that, find somebody who can.
Reach out and talk to somebody because your life is too beautiful.